Hey cuties, welcome back to my channel. Today is weekly Wednesday check-in, and because I budgeted last Sunday, and I knew there are some people that are new to the channel, I'm gonna go over my weekly check-in a little more elaborate than I usually do, so that all the new people also know what I'm doing and actually understand how the Kakeibo method works in real time. So let me get a sip of my iced coffee. Oh, so nice. And let's get started. So this is my overview for August, and this looks the same as it did in my September budget. The only difference is I already purchased my reward for this month, which were the new cash envelopes that you saw in my video, and this is not going to be accurate anymore because I changed the way that I will track my weekly spendings, but it's the same as usual income, and I subtract my expenses, and then I had a little more spending than usual because I went on a vacation for a week, so I had to have some preparation and some money for that, and then how much I saved. So let's see what we did for the past 2 weeks, because I fell down the stairs and I bruised my bum. So I didn't have a weekly Wednesday check-in last week, but we're gonna catch up now, and I will show you what I purchased those weeks. So this is last week. I gave myself, as usual, 10 euros of spending for the week, and the way this is set up is that I track my weeks from Monday through Tuesday, so there is enough time between Monday or Friday where most of the time I get paid, without it being too rushed or that I have all my expenses in one day. So there are 4 categories in which I put my spending. First, we have needs, which are the groceries, as you can see, but also I track when certain bills are paid, so that in the long run I can kind of evaluate when certain bills are paid without having to look up my bank statements or log into the provider of my bills every month. Then we have wants. This is where my spending money is going most of the time. Usually it's snacks or dates or little trips that I take, and I try to stay below the 10 or whatever money I give myself for that week. Then we have culture. Culture is things like books, things like concerts, or certain like museum trips. Anything that will enrich your life with culture, which is a big part of the Japanese way of living, I'm assuming. So that's what I also have for now because of 2020 and what happened. There isn't really anything that I could do for culture. There were no concerts, there were no museum trips, and I'm trying to lower my book purchases just for the sake of a budget. So culture has been empty for most of the time. And then last we have unexpected purchases. So for this one, that is my payment for the bank that I use every month. And because I fell down on Wednesday, I had to take some medicine and some pads and like heating pads. So that was also unexpected, and these expenses come out of my buffer that I have in my bank account. So with that, I hope I explained the way my tracker is working, or at least it works for me. And let's see how much I spent on my spending, on my wants for last week. Also, as a side note, these purple hearts are representing like a bad emotional day, like a depression day, because I've noticed that certain purchases are triggered by those days. So I just want to track those days and see if there are certain purchases that I make during those days. Not to police myself, but more to know about the actual fact, like, okay, if I am having a day that it's okay to eat junk food that I didn't spend or I didn't budget for. But it's a bigger problem if I do those same days, if I'm having a regular day and I eat out every day. Then for me that is something I have to look at and possibly change, because I don't think, personally for me, that if I go and have fast food every day, that's going to be a healthy, sustainable way of living for me. So that's how I also track my mood versus my purchases. So enough talking, let's calculate some coins. So I had, before I fell down on Wednesday, I had ice cream with my boyfriend. So that means that we went on a little date, and I paid for the ice cream. So we have €70 and 20 cents. And then I made some purchases for cash envelopes, like the chalk pencils that I use to write on, and the paper to print the templates to put underneath. So that's 2. So for last week I used €9 and 20 cents, which is still under my spending, which is good. And everything I keep under my spending, I just keep in my buffer for now. And it works out, because that's how I could afford my heating pads and my painkillers without any without stress or any disruption in my budget. So that was last week, and now, or 2 weeks ago, and now last week, as you can see here, I had another rough day, but no worries, I didn't have any spending, because the red hearts symbolize getting paid my income, and these days were still for my August budget. So I didn't think that I could spend, well, and I didn't want to spend money for this week, so I can have a fresh start next week in September and just see how much I spent. So no spending for this zero spend week, which is great. Well, not really, because I did groceries, but my bills got paid, and these groceries are still for the month of August, so I spent this with the grocery money for the month of August, and these are for my September purchases. So that means that I spent $16.80 and $3.25 because my onions and my garlic was expired. And you kind of need those in your day-to-day cooking. So that means that I spent €20.05 on groceries, which means we have €110 left for the rest of the weeks. I also bought some nail supplies because I was in an impulsive mood to do my nails, but I haven't really used any of them, so I might do that this weekend or during this week, which means that if we go back to my monthly overview, that means that this week will not be the last week. The fourth week will go into my September week, so I won't do anything with that. Then this week I spent 0, and the other week I spent $9.20. And usually I will count all this, add all this up, and then I will get a total. But for now, because it's still a little weird, it doesn't match the spending up here. But I hope that for September that will be a little more accurate. And that's it for this weekly Wednesday check-in. I'm very happy about the progress that I made, or at least that I'm having a little more control over my spending, and I can use different categories to allocate all my money. So I will keep continuing doing so because this works for me, and for now I'm gonna do all my chores that I have planned for today, and gonna enjoy this nice iced coffee. And if you're still here, I wanna say I hope you enjoy your day or your evening or your morning, wherever you are, whenever you're watching this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!